There you go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this bright, I hope it's a sunny morning for you like it is for me down here in Florida on the West Coast. I'm Jerry Ziegenfuss, and I'm welcoming you all in here. And I want to give a special welcome to our newbies, just like Susan. I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but our call thrives on all of you. And the more and more people coming on, and the newbies, as I call them, we welcome you to just speak up your results. As you know, we call this Monday Morning Miracle Call. We call these results our miracles, and there are so many. So we do appreciate hearing from everybody. And please step up, you newbies. I really would love to have you. We are a family here. And how you do that, on the bottom of your screen, if you're on your computer, it's a little harder on a phone. There's a react button. If you click on it, you'll see raise your hand. Please raise it and then just keep it up while we are talking. Then after we're done talking, you can put it down. And our first 15 minutes are for X39, our big patch of everything. That's our go-to it patch. We also like to include Celergize because it is now making such a difference for people using it, and it enhances the daytime patches. So first 15 minutes, you can do that. After the 15-minute mark, we'll go to the other ones. And please stay compliant. What that means to all of you is, like, when you go to a doctor, they give you a diagnosis. We do not want to hear that diagnosis. And if you're having trouble trying to tell us what it is you're going through, just go to AI, ChatGPT, whatever, put it in and just say, I need to say this without saying the name of the disease. And it'll come up really beautifully. So anyways, tell us how you were feeling before the patches, how you're doing now, and the patch you used. Obviously, the first 15 minutes, we know it's X39. And like I said, please keep them to like maybe 30 seconds to a minute when you're talking. If we don't have a lot of hands, you can share a little bit longer. That's fine. But I want you to know that we do not, LifeWave, we do not claim to treat, cure, or diagnose any condition. So please let us know this is a wellness product. And if you want to start putting those hands up, I really would appreciate seeing them up there. And let's get this Monday morning, this week, started off the right way. And since I see no hands yet, I'm going to start calling on people. But hey, Michelle. Michelle's one of our other hosts, and I think she's coming in to rescue me as we start. Michelle.
That's what we do for each other. Come on, you people. This is such a beautiful community of loving hearts, and we're a family. And as Karen O'Neill used to say when she was hosting, let your story bless someone. You never know who your story is going to bless. So let's get those hands up, everyone. I know everyone has a story on this call. So I wanted to just add to what Jerry said about when you describe what you felt before. And I think I heard this from Connie on the Doc Talk. Imagine going to your doctor. You don't go to your doctor and say, I have X, and you name a disease. You say what your symptoms are. So that's a really easy way. You don't even have to necessarily go to AI. Just describe your symptoms, right? So I've been using the X39 for almost 7 years. My dear friend Helen Peak was the one who introduced me. And I had some low back pain that was actually caused by a yoga class, of all things. I was in a hot yoga and I thought I could go farther than I really could. And I pulled something. And I had this pain for about 4 months. And nothing touched it. I do massage, and massage helped it. Physical therapy helped it. And chiropractic helped it, but nothing took care of it long term until I got on the patch. And yes, I'm blessed. I was kind of a one patch wonder. The very first day I put the patch on, my pain level dropped in half. It was like maybe an 8, went down to a 4. And Helen gave me a couple more patches to get me through the weekend. By Sunday, this happened on a Thursday that I tried it for the first time. By Sunday, the pain was someone's talking. We'll have to mute some people here. So anyway, in 4 days, the pain was gone and it never returned. I just slapped that patch on my low back, and As all of you know, the placement of the patch is usually on the back of the neck, but you can put the patch anywhere because it works systemically. And if you have pain, it's a good idea to put it right on the place of pain. All right. Thanks,
Uh,
Jerry. Thanks for letting me
Thank you
share.
so much, Michelle. And like she said, she was a one patch wonder. I was never one of those people. And it took 2.5 years, but I have knees that work again. Um, I what I just want you to know is yes, we do recommend what we really strongly recommend is a year for each decade you're alive. And then don't even stop then because your result might be right after that. But
A month for each decade, Jerry. A month,
oh,
not a year. Not a year.
I'm sorry. I'm
A
sorry.
month for
Thanks,
each
Michelle.
decade.
That's why we're on here. A month, getting down to a month for each decade that you're alive, and just keep going even then after. I'm almost 5 years now, and results, I keep having results. And had I stopped a long time ago, I wouldn't have these extra results. And like persistence and stay hydrated. So please, Trisha, please unmute. And I love your stories. You have a new one today?
I do.
Good.
I have been using a patch on my foot for about 5 months, an X39, and it's been helping. But I also use Celergize, and I started using the X2O water last week. And as soon as I added that, I had a real reaction in my foot. It was retracing and it just
Right.
started hurting so badly I had to take the X39 patch off for a little bit. And I moved it and it started again. And I went, okay, so but it hasn't been hurting since then. I did take the patch off, but I'm very pleased that it's all doing much better.
Wonderful. And like, I know we have those new people on here. What retracing is, what Trisha was talking about. And I have another example of somebody that didn't know what it is. If you start hurting in an old injury spot that it really hadn't healed properly, you probably have scar tissue, whatever might have been remained. What it's doing is it's going back in to heal you properly. So you will have pain. The one person that had pain in her wrist, she stuck with it and she just kept going and going, plugging through the pain. Sometimes you can't. So, like Trisha did, take it off, make sure you're drinking water. You can put it back and just keep going back and forth until that retracing, what I'm saying, healing has done its job. And yes, that X39 does that. Thank you, Trisha.
You're welcome.
John Ward, good morning. How are you? Please come in.
Good morning. Can you hear me, see me?
Yes, both.
Cheers. Guess
Yes.
what that is?
We know.
So my story, it's kind of an old story, but it's still the best one I've personally got. When I started with X39, I had no issues, nothing. And first thing I noticed in the 6th day was deep REM sleep that has never left me.
Oh, wow.
Never left me. My whole circadian rhythm has changed to the point where I only need 4 to 5 hours sleep at night now. And
Wow.
and it's I feel like $1,000,000. But here's the real story. I moved to Nashville let's see, 4 years ago. And I had to get a new driver's license. I couldn't pass a driver's test because I have monovision from cataracts. I have one eye was 20/20 and one eye was 20/25. And so I couldn't pass the eye test because their machines won't read monovision. It won't allow you to use it. So I had to go get an eye test, which turned out to be the blessing. I am 20/15 in both eyes.
Wow.
Now, I had been wearing it at that point in time for 5 years. I knew my eyes were changing. And I have to give a little caveat here. I started wearing X49 when it came out, also the sister stem cell to X39. So I don't know which one did it, but at 2015, like I'm getting ready to drive to Florida on Sunday, I'll drive straight through. It allows me to see any trouble way ahead of where I am. And really just keeps me safe when I'm driving.
Wow. That's amazing, huh, John? At our age, that our eyes are getting better.
Yeah, I'll be 74 May 6th. So, that I could tell other stories, but that's the best one I got.
Okay, well, we'll get another one after, but thank you so much for coming in. Thanks. Ella Luvet, would you please
Hey,
unmute? Hi.
yes, good day. I'm calling in from Simi Valley, California. I wanted to share that on Thursday I went to the driver's license place, and when returning to my vehicle, I actually fell between the car and the curve, parallel down. Tried to break my fall by trying to grab onto the mirror that's on the side of the car, and I
Mhm.
missed it and went straight down. Someone from across the parking lot said, "Are you all right?" I told her I'll let her know once I get up. When I got up, guys, I had no pain, no embarrassment, nothing. The only thing that was affected, I had a little soreness on my elbows because I landed trying to break my fall. But I really didn't think about it until last night when I was listening to all the people who had been falling. I said, heck, I got a story. Yes, I got up, no pain, period, no embarrassment, nothing. So I just wanted to share.
Wow, I am so glad you're great like that. That was
And I'm
wonderful.
63. I have 63 years of life experience. So I'm not a young chicken. So when I jumped up, everything was good.
How long have you been on the patches, Ella Luvet?
Almost 3 years. 3 years. Not as faithful as I would like to be, but running about 3 years or so months. Some months.
Okay, well, you hear that all? She's 3 years and she's trying to be consistent. So, yeah, that's the name thing. Be consistent. Michelle, please come on back in, unmute. And I can't take the people's hands down for some reason. So if you have spoken, please take your hands down. Thank you.
Yeah, since there's no other hands, come on, you guys, let's do it. Let's make this a great call. I want to follow up with what John shared. I also, my vision, John, is 2015. Rahoo! Yeah, my distance vision has really improved. The last time I saw my optometrist, it was the same, and 2015, and it was definitely not that good a couple years before, and that's after, well, it would have been 6 years. So the benefits keep accruing, everybody. They just keep growing over time. And, scars are fading, definitely wrinkles, disappearing. And I heal a lot faster and I don't get sick as often. That's what's really exciting as people all around me. Oh, I got the latest, viral, whatever, cough, sneeze. And I just don't get sick. And consistency is the key. Thanks, Jerry.
Well, thank you so much. And with that note, we have a customer that had an experience that I want you all to use your intuition. That's the best thing. What you're thinking, do it. Because what the person did, she was wearing the X39 behind the neck like we do at C7, and she got a real bad headache. And she intuitively took it and she put it on her head. Her headache disappeared almost immediately. So when you're, doing something, if you think you want to try it, just try it because you can't hurt yourself. That's the main thing with the patches. You cannot hurt yourself. So, Angela, please unmute. Come on in. What do you have for us today? Or you can keep trying to unmute. And Lynn, can we go to you while Angela's trying to unmute?
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are. Come on in, Lynn.
Oh, yay. Okay. I wanted to share my husband's story. We've been on the patches for about 4 years, but about 6 or 9 months before we started the patches, he hurt his knee and it was swollen terribly. He could hardly walk up the stairs at night. He had to put a pillow between his knees because if they touched while he slept, it would wake him up from the pain. And that was going on for months and months. And we tried all kinds of things, chiropractic, all kinds of nutrients, everything. And it just was not getting better. So we had him scanned and they said that his meniscus was torn in 2 places and that he had to have surgery and that it would not heal. So it was in the middle of COVID and I'm like, no howling way you're going to the hospital. So I said, so let's try these patches. So we put the patches on and a month later, he's like, I don't think it's working. And I'm like, well, let's see. You're not pulling yourself up the stairs and at night you're not putting a pillow between your knees. So obviously something was happening, but he still had a fair amount of pain and his knee was still swollen, not quite as much. Make a long story short, within 9 months, he was doing deep knee bends, no surgery, and his knee has been perfect ever since.
Wow. And I'd like to add to the meniscus story, because if you go to a doctor, they're going to tell you it cannot repair. And
yeah, and I think the thing that really is important for me is not just that it repaired, but that it was a 9-month process. And
right.
that what you're looking for was continued improvement over that period of time. And it wasn't an overnight miracle, but it was
Right.
a miracle.
And what I wanted to add is my doctor said mine would not fix itself. I was supposed to have surgery. Well, never had surgery and I don't have pain. So as Robin tells us, he'll say, "Excuse me, doctor, I don't mean to say anything bad to what you're doing, but in your world, maybe not, but in our world, our patching world, it is possible. We have possibilities that you can't even think of. So just keep on patching." Lynn, and before you talk, Lynn, I was just going to tell everybody, if you want to try unmuting while you're waiting to be next, that's probably a good thing, because I know with the phone it's hard. So Lynn, please come in.
Okay. I just wanted to emphasize the importance of attending events. I was fortunate enough to take a group of people to the Beverly Hills Film Festival. It was amazing. The after party was very, very upscale and it was great. Gosh, there were so many people there. The theater was completely full. And, my people were just like, wow. And one of them that went with me, even we'd both seen the film at convention. And then I got on a plane early the next morning and went to Dallas. So I just got back late last night. But boy, Dallas was magnificent. It was a great boot camp, and just spending time with Velvet and Janet and
Exactly.
eight or 10 of our team. We met several times before and after. It was very, very important. And I have bone on both of my knees, and I've been doing the protocol with glutathione and Eon, and for about 4 months, and I have not had to have any shots. So I get by, and I'm just going to keep on. And my doctor is working with me, my surgeon. So.
Oh, great. Okay, and you're putting the Eon on the inside of the knee and the glutathione on the outside. Is that?
Yeah.
I know people are wondering. So
And usually cortisone in the middle. I found another protocol for that. So
right.
I've been doing all three.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Beck, come on in. Please unmute.
It's all about knees today. I'm excited to share my story. I've been patching for about 3.5 years. At the beginning, of course, I got all the great, more energy, optimism, better sleep. These patches are forever for me. But this is so cool. And the benefit of being on these calls, the doc talks, I would have freaked out otherwise. So let's just encourage everybody to get on these and share these. I woke up, I guess about a week ago. I don't think I've shared it on this call, but I did share it on Doc Talk. I woke up and one morning and both of my knees were as stiff as a board and hurting. And I got out of the bed, I thought, what the heck's going on? And I tried, well, what did I do yesterday? And I thought, I didn't do anything. What's going on? The bottom line is, I believe what happened in my body, because it is designed by God to repair and heal itself. Thank God for the patches and the calls. But I thought, oh, could this be an old injury like I've heard other people share? Specifically, I remember Dr. Pena talking about he had an old sports injury, I think. And I think it hurt for maybe a couple of weeks. And so, again, thank God that I heard that, because I remembered at 19, that's like 40 years ago or something, 45 years ago. Is that right? Yeah, 25. Yeah, it is. Okay. I remembered running into, I had a sports injury as a cheerleader, and my knee swelled up double in size. And I called my mother and said, tell me about that injury, because I barely remember it. And what did we do? Da, 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 da. Y'all, the right knee quit. I immediately started putting the patches on my knee. And I did remember that protocol that we're talking about for knees. And in a couple of days, the right knee, fine. The left knee must have needed more repair. I don't know how it all works, but I want to learn. It is getting better and better and better. And I do believe my body is repairing a better job than it did back then. And I'm blown away by it. When it happens to you, and I remember Dr. Pena saying if you can work through the pain, because it's kind of like, it seems like to me, I don't know what you think, Jerry. I'm deducing this almost like the body's doing its own surgery,
Right.
so to speak.
The body will continue to heal you, and these patches are given it extra fuel to do that.
To do so.
And,
Love it.
Like we mentioned, the retracing, and it's new to all you new people here. But yes, the retracing Beck was talking about and the other person, just if you can work through it, fine. If you can't, go back and forth and, do it that way. Come on, John, what else you got to tell us? Another good one? Unmute, John.
There we go.
Yeah.
So one of the worst things that can happen to us as younger people is to lose muscle. And it's really, truly one of the worst things that you can let go, is because you lose balance, you lose muscle, you lose function, you just lose stability. And one of the things with X39 and X49 is that it helps you build muscle, and without even doing much. If you add gym to it, what a world of difference.
Right.
And the recovery that you experience is, I go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week. I'm one of the oldest people there. And I stand out because of the color of my hair and my beard. So I stand out. And everybody comes up to me and talks to me. They think I'm 50 years old. I get accused of being in my 50s all the time. But I'm up leg pressing 887 pounds with skinny legs. And I'm going to get 1,000 pounds before I leave for Florida.
Wow.
And
That's an
that's my
accomplishment.
goal. Once I get to 1,000, I'm done. I'm going on to something else. But it's the recovery and the muscle building.
Right.
And when you build muscle, you lose fat.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just, it is my tool. I wear the hat protocol when I go to the gym.
Right. Great.
So
thank
don't
you.
lose muscle, wear patches.
Exactly. And with Jim talking about X39, X49, that is the dynamic duo. And it is so dynamic that the company gives you a discount with it. And, it's, they're $99.95. You've been in both. It's $179. But all of you, listen up. Make sure you put it as a subscription, because then you get another $10 off. So the company's really helping you. And those two patches together are amazing. But my experience with 49, because it works on bone, brain, and muscle, like John was saying, and my bad fall with my fractured pelvis, as bad as it was, I had bone back in the fractures in 3 weeks with my orthopedic guy. Couldn't believe. And in 6 weeks, both fractures were engulfed in new bone. So the bone, it really is growing, is amazing. So all us ladies that, we have those bone problems, please be on X49. It's amazing. So unmute, Mary. Come on in. What do you have to say today?
All right. I have a couple of X39 stories. I gave a talk at my chiropractor's health talk that he has, and a man came up and he couldn't open and close his hands. He'd had 2 hand surgeries. They wanted to do a third one. His hand was in pain. And I just gave him a patch to take home to try. And the next day his wife called and said his pain is gone and he's opening and closing his fingers again. So they got on it. And then since he's been using them, he's been able to do that. And that same week, I gave a couple patches to an osteopath friend of mine who couldn't stand up without pain on her knee. She could hardly walk across the floor when she got up. And this is someone who can do manipulation, has all kinds of technology in her office. And then she called me 2 days later and said, the pain I've had for a year is gone. And I said, wow, that was fast. And she said, I haven't been able to touch this pain. And then she said, I want the patches. And I said, well, do you want the science? Do you want the studies? Thinking she's a doctor. She said, no, I know they work. Was 2 great stories. And then my husband had another knee injury. He injured his meniscus and his knee was all blown up and he was laid up, couldn't walk, really bad. And excuse me, we patched him up really good. And I was using 2 X39s, everything, Eon Gluto, 5 patches over his knee. And within about a week, he was able to walk and hasn't had any trouble since. So as far as knees go, I think that's another great story right there. Have a couple more
Right.
stories. I'll save them for another time.
Thanks, Mary. Make sure you come on next week. But
Okay.
to speak with what Mary was saying about, we love it when we have these one patch wonders. I mean, it's amazing because, then they see it. But just keep trying, get out there, because we are going to heal the world, I think. Right? Great
Thank you,
stories,
Jeannie.
Mary. Yeah, thank
you.
you. Gary, please unmute. What do you have today? Gary, are you there? If not, the iPhone can unmute. If you can unmute and come on in until Gary can unmute, because we're almost going to be running out of time. We want to get there. You
There
go,
we
Gary.
go. Okay.
Okay.
I practiced so many times, but when it's time to do it, it didn't work. So,
Oh.
so I have a story of an 81-year-old friend of mine who comes to buy honey from me, and she bought a case of it that day, and she was telling me, she said, "Well, I almost didn't come," and I said, "What happened?" Said yesterday or this morning, a weed wrapped around my leg. She fell forward and weirdly hit her head right up against a shed. And so I said, "Ay, my caramba, why did you even come?" And she said, "Well, I didn't tell my hubby and I'm okay." But I said, "Well, I've been telling you about these patches. So do you want to try an experiment?" She said, "Sure." So she let me put it on her head, and it made the swelling the size of a chicken egg, literally. And it was split and really sore. So we stuck it right on there. And I said, "I can't diagnose or say anything, but based on what I've seen, this should be way better tomorrow morning." So she put it on, and sure enough, I called and she said, "My husband and I couldn't believe it." She said the swelling went completely down and she could touch that sore spot, which you usually can't do for several days. So anyhow, really amazing how it works
That
for
was
all kinds of
amazing.
things.
Yeah, amazing. So great that we can help people. So
Yeah.
thank you, Gary.
Yes. Yes.
iPhone.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you, Gary.
Mhm.
iPhone, please unmute. Can you unmute? I know the phone is difficult. I have to keep hitting my screen on the bottom till it pops up. So Valerie, if you want to come in until the iPhone's able to, come on in, Valerie.
Yes, last Thursday, I did a stupid thing. I have cement steps in front of my house, 4 of them. And for some reason, I just walked off the steps and I hit the cement platform on the bottom. And I sat there, and I'm 71 years old. I've been on the patches for 13 months. And I sat there and I thought, oh, geez, what did I break? And I moved around. Nothing was broke. My ankle hurt something fierce. And so I thought, okay. And so I moved it around, make sure it wasn't crunching or anything. And I opened up the car door that was sitting there and I pulled myself up and I walked around and I, oh, well, this ain't too bad. And about an hour later, I couldn't hardly walk on that ankle. And so I went and got a fresh X39, put it right at my ankle where I moved, and my foot was starting to swell. So I put an Eon on and an Ice Wave. And by that night, I still wasn't walking on it very good. I mean, it hurt like the dickens. Friday morning, I got up, put another Ice Wave on it and another Eon on it, and I was getting better. And my husband said Thursday, he says, no dancing Saturday night. And I says, you wait and see. Saturday morning, I was walking on my ankle and the pain was a little bit there, but the swelling was going down and the coloring was disappearing. And I danced for 2.5 hours.
Great.
That on Saturday night. And I've been walking on my foot ever since. So
thanks, Valerie. Yeah, keep on patching.
And the miracle of the patches and all these wonderful people here. Thank you
so much. Tatiana, did you want to say something?
Yes, I do have a testimonial. And I got to patch my daughter's boyfriend. He's 25 years old, and I tried a couple of times, didn't work. I'm going to do myself today. He had a major pain in his low back, sciatica, from driving to like 5 hours back and forth. And I remembered one of the incentive trips, one of the doctors said to put X39 1 inch away to the right of the belly button and 2 inches down. So we did that. And the pain in his legs completely went away instantly. And then we did ice wave on the back of his knees, and his pain completely went away within 10 minutes.
Wow. So, and that was the pain going down the leg, and that's, could you say
It was
that
instant.
again?
So X39, we put 1 inch to the right of his belly button. If you move it one, and then from that point down 2 inches, that's where we put it. Instantly, the pain in the legs was gone. And then ice wave behind his knees, left 10 and right white. And then actually, we did another one. I remember one of the talks we had. You can patch the whole body if you do another pair of ice wave, 10 on the bottom of the foot, kidney point, and then the white on the back of the shoulder. Completely gone.
Great. Wonderful share. Thank you, Tatiana. And okay, we can finish out since Glenn, do you want to unmute and finish our call out today?
Yeah, sure. I just had to unmute and get my video going there.
Thank you.
So just a quick story here. I've got many, but I'm going to tell the most important one, which was I had a torn MCL from a dirt bike incident about 3.5 years ago. I'm 68 years old, and I dealt with this injury. You know, I had pain, inflammation, swelling, and I'd have to pop it back in place. If I squatted down, if I stood back up, I'd have to manually pop my knee back in place. So I dealt with that for about 3 years. So as soon as I got the patch, I put it on. This was about 2 months ago. And within 3.5 weeks, my knee was totally normal again.
Wow.
I was blown away, totally sold on X39.
Yeah. It's our master or our go-to patch. So thank you so much, Glenn. Thanks for coming on. So Liz, do you have a testimonial or do you have something else?
I have a comment that Coach Jim is going to be interviewing David Schmidt tonight on his Zoom. That's going to start at 5:00 Pacific time. That's 8:00 East Coast. And the link is actually bethelightwater.com. And it will also be in our Live Younger Live Younger Facebook as well. So, and I'll put it in the chat as you close everything down. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. And also, everybody, the password is capital X39. So when you're going into that, so you have a password.
Correct. I'll put that in the chat too.
Right. And I just want to let everybody know, you don't have any competition out there. No company in the world has a product that can activate and regenerate the peptide that gets your stem cells going again. So you have a gold mine here. And just think, everyone over 50, and many who are younger for that matter, all have declining stem cells because it starts at about the age of 30. So just get out there and help people because they need you. So anyways, tonight
anytime you want to go, I'm ready.
Our regular meeting tonight starts. Could somebody mute? I'm not able to mute people today. Anyway, our regular community call then will be tonight at 9 Eastern. You can hop onto that right after the wonderful X2O Zoom that Liz just brought on to us because he'll get off in time to do it. So I know Jim's on here. I want to thank Jim for that and thank Liz and everybody. You go out and have a wonderful weekend. And if you want to unmute and say goodbye, just have a peachy week.
Fabulous you, Jerry. You did a great job as usual.
Yeah, great job, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jerry. What a great call.
Have a good day.
Great testimonies, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for your testimonies.
Thank you.
Send this
Bye.
out to anybody.
Bye, Jonathan.
This is so easy.